You are listening to the sounds of the Right On Network.
Hello and welcome to On the Record Jams, brought to you by the Right On Network. This is episode 30. I'm AJ.
And I'm Arthur.
And I just want to take a quick time out to thank our Patreon subscribers because we got to 30 episodes, and it's because of your support. You're the reason why this particular podcast of the Right On Network exists, and that is Clinton Robeson at Fan Film Fridays and Coffee and Comics, the great Jordan Holt, April 5K, listen to her on the Manhattan Project talking about Friends and Seinfeld, Bill Beer of The Bat Pod, Chris Pine 1, Rick from Jeff and Rick Present Unpacking the Power of Power Pack, Justin Steiner, check him out on Substack, She Fly Pie. Over at the Fire and Water Podcast Network, we have the Irredeemable Shag, Laurel Phillips, listen to her on the Huntress Podcast, Paul Hickson over in Australia, you gotta love the Paul, Mark Blair, listen to him on Feathers and Foes, a Birds of Prey podcast, friend of the Right On Network, Ken Fedorkowski, Cluck Trent. We have Merc Bandwidth. He's the sound of the Right On Network. Check out his music. He's Merc Bandwidth. He's also known as DJ Merc. Delvin Sims. Check him out on the music platforms. And Alan Wright. He's boldoutlaw.com. Robin Hood enthusiast. Okay, Arthur. Oh, thank you guys. You went to patreon.com/Right On Network. Check the link in the show notes. It'll take you there, and it could really help us out. And also, guys, if you want to help out the podcast, go to Apple Podcasts and write a review and subscribe to us and rate us. It'll help other people find the show because Arthur and I, we want to keep talking about music, and we want to talk about music with you. Now, speaking of talking about some music, man, Arthur, for episode 30, can you tell the lovely listeners what we're putting on the record this time?
I'm so excited. No, that's not the song I'm putting on the record, but I am excited because I am putting 1982's Pretty Young Thing, P.Y.T, on the record. This is Michael Jackson. This is from the outlandishly huge Thriller album. So that is where I'm going with this. I'm going to need to get some guardrails around me because otherwise this thing will go on forever because it's P.Y.T, it's Michael Jackson, it's Thriller. And this song, this album was everywhere. I still had the benefit of having LPs around me during this time. So record player, I had Thriller, the album, you know, him laying down, you open up the cover, he's in there with the little tiger, like the lyrics, like I'm just old enough to be able to read, and I'm just reading these lyrics over and over, like understanding, ingesting, just listening to Thriller all the time on the record player at my house. Like this is something from that period of time. So yeah, P.Y.T is one of those ones for sure.
I can't believe that this came out in 1982 and really got its run in 83, but that is what happened. So 1982, I'm 3 years old. I'm watching He-Man. I'm crawling around on the floor. And I am scared to death of the Thriller video. Like as soon as I would get scared, take off running. When I saw Michael Jackson's face in that Thriller video, I would scream. I would take it. You gotta turn it off. You gotta turn it off. So I never really seen the Thriller video in its entirety, maybe until third grade. But then again, I felt like I watched like the making of because it was a big deal. Like they would show you the making of and all this stuff. The Beat It video, the Legend of Billie Jean. I remember that. I remember in the Legend of Billie Jean, like it was a weird thing going on in the bed or something, like a ghost sheet. So it was a lot about like Michael Jackson. It was like, oh man, it was freaking me out. But I remember like, I feel like by the time I was in second grade, that music, it was like it was never not there. But then again, I'm a young person, right? But I felt like, wow, if this music came out when I was 3 and 4 years old, but it was still prevalent, like when I was in second grade. But I think by the time I hit second grade, Then Bad is out. But it's like Michael Jackson, boom, it's everywhere. Like, you're learning about him that, like, oh, he used to be in Jackson 5. Every once in a while, you're seeing the Jackson 5 cartoon. You're seeing him in commercials. He's winning awards. He has the jacket on, the sequence jacket, all this stuff, the sequence glove. There's so many references to him in movies. So it's everywhere. Now, to prepare for this particular episode of On the Record Jams, for the first time, I listened to Thriller in its entirety so I could get this song in its proper context. P.Y.T, Pretty Young Thing, produced by Quincy Jones and others. Guys, get yourself a producer.
Please.
Get a producer. Like, it's neat. Like, hey, I love Weezer's Pinkerton album. They produced themselves, and that's great. But, man, like, Lenny Kravitz, I think Lenny Kravitz is very talented. He produces his own stuff, and that's cool, but get somebody else in there one day. Just have another set of eyes, another set of ideas. Because each one of these records on this Thriller album, it sounds like we're not moving on until we feel like, did anybody else got a good idea? Does anyone else have like a way we can work on this project again? Okay, and now we're moving on. Because, wow, this thing's moved smoothly.
So think about this, right? Like the Jackson 5, they weren't just like little kids and then they disappeared. Then Michael Jackson showed up out of nowhere with a glove on doing the moonwalk and everybody was like, oh man, this guy's crazy. There was a teenage era of the Jackson 5 and then they became the Jacksons. But it was kind of mostly the same group, except really just Jermaine Jackson left and went solo first and was doing his own thing. But like as Michael started to get into his teenage years, voice changing, all of that, they worked with so many different producers to try to, keep the magic going, unlock, because they came out in the Motown 60s. I mean, we talk about the Motown outfit from the 60s so much because they're such a big part of so many different things that happen in music. Well, what do you know? They had the Jackson 5 too. But then as Michael started to get up in age and they had to figure out what they were going to do record contract wise, Jermaine did his own thing also through Motown. But yeah, they worked with the Philadelphia producers who were huge at the time. They moved around. And the funny thing is when Michael went to make his adult album, because he made albums as a teenager and a child, and like a younger kid. So his first quote unquote, like maybe his late teens album / early 20s album was Off the Wall. And then that was the highest selling album by a black artist ever at that time. But Michael was somewhat like disappointed by that because he's Michael Jackson. And he's like, hey, I got to blow this thing out of the water next time. I'm going to do something else. I'm on Epic Records, not Motown anymore. We got to do this thing. They wanted him to use Maurice White from Earth, Wind & Fire because they wanted him to have more of an adult sound. But some kind of way, Michael wanted Quincy Jones, which Quincy Jones had a significant history in jazz. Frank Sinatra, like Quincy Jones, that name, that's like going out and getting the best. Like, let me get this guy for my music, but you guys don't even know it. Like, I'm going to make all this genre line crossing music and I'm going to put it all in one album and it's going to work because it's me and it's Quincy. And man, unreal. Like you thinking about having to get this is where a record label actually works, right? Because they give you the resources. They have an idea that if they give you enough time, things will work out. They'll give you a deadline so that they don't go broke, but they're going to let you cook, as the kids say, right? And it's like, you, Quincy, go in there, cook it up. Let's see what happens. We really liked Off the Wall, but if you really think you can outdo this, then cool. Let's see what you come up with. and this guy goes in and turns in Thriller. And when you think about it, it's crazy because Off the Wall is insanely good. Like, that's something else. If you've never listened to that from front to back, the hardest thing that people don't appreciate about it is that it does have a little dance disco-y to it, especially some of the album cuts. But I mean, if you just look at Off the Wall, I mean, that's Quincy Jones too, but it's like, this is the first Quincy Michael record. And it's like, Rock With You, Don't Stop Till You Get Enough. The title track, Off the Wall, he's got I Can't Help It with Stevie Wonder doing the right, like Stevie Wonder's writing you songs. Like, then this is after the Songs in the Key of Life when Stevie was basically untouchable. And it's like, man, like, this is a really good record. And of course, again, highest selling album for a black artist at that time. And they said, no, that's not enough. We got to try to backdoor that again in a few years with something even better. And it's not going to be a disco record. It's not going to be just an R&B record. It's not going to be just a pop record. It's not going to be a rock record. It's just going to be the record for everything. And everybody's like, wait, what? And they're like, yeah, it's going to be everything. There's going to be guitar solos. I'm going to be talking to the song before the song starts. I'm going to have weird interludes. I'm going to make basically the Halloween anthem of all time.
Okay, I have a question.
Yeah.
Okay, because I don't know how to quantify this. How sure-shiny was this Thriller record? Because when you look at it in hindsight, it's like, oh, well, of course. But when they're making this, when they're playing this over the loudspeaker, when they're turning this in, was this like, oh, yeah? Or was this something where it's like, I don't know, man? Or because I think you can do a better job of putting this in the proper context. Was it so different than what was out? Or like, how, like, did they know what they had? Like, I feel like when you go back, it's early 2000s. And when Dave Chappelle, he would come out in between the skits to talk. When they were coming out to introduce the Rick James skit, you could tell they knew. Did they know with this?
So think about music back in that time. Again, when you're functioning with a full record label and budgets, and you have Quincy Jones as your producer, the idea is like they set out to make a colossal, huge album. And so now that's a lot of pressure that you're putting on yourself. Even though you're Michael Jackson, you're in your low 20s, you just made the highest selling album by a black artist ever. And you're like, yeah, I guess that was cool, but that, let me go on. I got to do a little bit better than that. We're going to get back in the lab and we're going to do something even bigger than that. So
Nintendo's about to come out. I got to go bigger.
So yeah, it's like the blockbuster album. So the other thing is this, like, the story goes back then is like you would literally like turn your album in like homework or something, and you would turn it into the label, and then the label execs might literally sit around a table and listen to it. And sometimes they have the artist there, sometimes they don't. Well, depending on who you ask, I've heard this story a few different ways and a few different times, but the gist is that like they all came together. The record label people came together and said, all right, you got this Thriller thing done. Let's hear it. And Mike is like worried. Like, I'm not sure. Like, I think we got some good stuff, but I don't know, man. Let's see. And apparently when the album was done being played, standing ovation. Like, holy crap, we are about to print money with this thing. Like, this is, oh my God. Like, man, wow.
Okay, I have to say this. All right. So because I don't think I was, man, okay, I think I'm conflating so much stuff. So I didn't realize you got to be starting something was on this.
Oh, yeah.
So this opens it up. Yeah. I would imagine, we're going to play the record. When that was done, I would go, okay, just stop, everybody stop. and walked around, did all the walking around. Okay, let's play the next one. But you're doing that not like I remember the first time my friend Virgil and I on VHS we watched Pulp Fiction. It took us about 5 hours to watch that movie because our minds kept getting blown because it was one of those situations where, we never seen anything like this before. So we had to keep stopping the movie, walking outside, talking, wiping our frown, looking around. Okay, let's get back in there. And that had to be with this. Because I'm trying to put this in proper context. Like, this isn't like, it's just run of the mill. Like, Beat It. You've heard Beat It 1,000 times before this. Come on. I'm like, no, I don't think you ever have. Now, but to get kind of more serious, is Michael Jackson, is he doing world music? Because I still never get I get what he's doing here. It's like, you can't define it. You can't. But in the end, because sometimes I'm like, okay, sometimes the music, it sounds like it's made in a factory. So I'm like, what is he doing?
So it's almost like, I think I've talked about this before with like funk bands and also some of the recovering jazz artists in the 70s when they started trying to make songs with lyrics, they started trying to make hits. It would be kind of like what I would call frustrated jazz musician music. And a lot of it is really good and it's really musical and there's a lot of stuff packed in there. And what Michael was trying to do was take that, especially with Quincy doing it and saying, okay, Quincy's hearing that he's too jazzy and he's going to mess up Michael Jackson, right? So Jones is living with the pressure of, hey, dude, we know you're Quincy Jones and Frank Sinatra in 30 years and desegregation and playing in clubs and you've been around for 30 years and all of that. But dude, don't you mess up Michael Jackson. It's Michael Jackson. It's like the little kid jumping around with a hat on saying, I want you back and stuff. Like, don't ruin this. And Michael's like, hey, I'm not that little kid anymore. I'm a grown dude. And you're not going to define me by my race. You're not going to define me by my age. I'm going to make something that you ain't got no choice but to mess with it. Like, I'm going to give everybody something. And I'm going to still not lose myself because it's still me. But I'm like grown up, great, awesome me. So I'm going to have the ballads. I'm going to have the songs with the guitar solos. I'm going to get Paul McCartney on the song. I'm going to make the Halloween anthem of all time. I'm going to have the coldest album cuts. I'm going to have everything. And it's not going to be just Quincy Jones because when you get Quincy Jones, you get all the people that come with Quincy Jones. So you get a little bit more of that Rod Temperton. You get Patty Austin. You get James Ingram. You get like some of the best musicians, some of the best singers, and they're trying to figure this out. You got a lot of the guys that were in the group Toto are involved with this album. Like, I Felt the Rains Down in Africa Toto, like Georgia Porter Pudding Pie, like that Toto, like hits Toto. They were like, we're trying to get it all. We're trying to get a stew going. Like, rest in peace, Carl Weathers. Like, we're trying to get a stew. We're going to get the best of everything, the best players, the best singers, and we're going to knock this thing out of the park. And when they say, well, what kind of record is it? You just say, yeah. And you're like, what do you mean, yeah? It's the record. Like, it's the record that got everything on it. Like, you can't stop it. Well, is it going to be 2 hours long? People ain't trying to listen to that. No, dude, it's 40 minutes. It's one record. It's 9 songs. We're finna kill it. And that was the goal. And so, yeah, did they know? I think they kind of knew. 100 million? No, maybe they didn't know that. But, like, they knew they had something. And then when you mix in that they got 3 of the craziest videos ever, right? Like, you think the Thriller video, which is basically a movie. You got Beat It, where it's like Michael Jackson walking around and then he breaks up a knife fight with a dance routine or something. And I'm a couple years older than you, but I didn't ask any questions. I'm like, Michael Jackson's walking around saying, beat it. No one wants to be defeated. He comes down the stairs. These dudes are getting ready to have a full on knife fight. And Michael's like, no, y'all. You got to do this dance routine, y'all. And then everybody said, you know what, man? I think I'd rather do a dance routine. And then they just do
guitar
it.
solo.
Yes.
Because you got to remember when he's doing Beat It, they're doing West Side Story.
Yeah.
So when you watch West Side Story, there's a part where the dude goes, and this is a movie that came out in 1958. He goes, beat it.
Yeah.
And then you get this here. But in a modern day sense, so when it's like, hey man, Michael Jordan, man, these people, they were killing folks for your shoes at the bus stop. What were you saying about it? So it's like, okay, we're asking, you had a platform and this violence was going down. What did you do? Man, I made this Beat It video. I made the Bad video. And in the late 90s, I made They Don't Really Care About Us. And I kind of think when I was growing up, I was always like, where's this coming from? Where's this coming from? And I think when I heard They Don't Really Care About Us, that's when I was like, wait a minute. Okay, there's a lot of times where he's making protest songs. Like, I think there's a lot of times he's kind of doing that, but it's not Public Enemy Fight the Power where I know it's a protest song. But with Beat It, I'm just like, I'm just like you're saying, like, hey, Michael Jackson's walking around, people having all-out knife fights. I'm 5. Why would I question it? But when I started reflecting back, I was like, yeah, he's doing social commentary a lot.
Yes.
With the bad, who's bad, all this stuff. Like he's commenting on culture. It looks like he kind of sits back and watches stuff and then goes, oh, okay, I want to make a comment on that. Like right now, like hip hop's big. I want to make a comment on it. Like, oh, it's not bad meaning bad, but bad meaning good. Oh, yeah, it's like a turn of phrase. I kind of want to comment on that. So, because when I was growing up, I never, I shared a room with my brother. So, like, if he played music, I listened to it. So, really, the only music I really like, my parents had music. So, I never sought anything out other than the Monkees. Watching that on TV. But other than that, like, until I was in junior high, so it's the 90s, where I went, no, I want to listen to this. I want to listen to that. So, like, Michael Jackson, for me, it was like I told you earlier, the sky is blue. I can look into the science of why it's blue and it's so many molecules in the sky and what's getting through or the blue and all this. But it's just, the sky's blue, I'll accept it. So, like, with Michael Jackson, he was just always around, so I never sought it out because I didn't have to. He was in TV shows and culture, and Alfonso would mimic him and all this stuff on Silver Spoons and all this. So, like, I never had to seek him out. And also, he's my introduction to Wizard of Oz with The Wiz. So people talk to me about, like, hey, have you seen Wicked? Like, no, I saw The Wiz. I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm done.
Be careful now.
I saw The Wiz. So yeah, we're talking about Thriller. This is 1983. And I think this is something we've never talked about. This is during a time where the music is put on physical media. Therefore, the people, when they make the music, they know we have finite time. Now, we gonna make a triple album and all this stuff, but most of the time we're not gonna do that. So they know we're dealing with finite. So like you said, this is an album that's 9 songs.
Yep.
It's deliberate. And one of the reasons why I ask you, like, hey, did they know what they have? And you're like, dude, yeah, they knew what they have. They got Quincy Jones is on a big label. Like, you're not going in there and trying to be, tanker soldier. Like, you're not trying to be little and bitty. You're not being kitschy. Like, dude, we're making a big production here. But it's interesting that, like we said, the first single is That Girl Is Mine. And it's like, wait a minute. So you guys heard Thriller. You guys heard Billie Jean. You heard P.Y.T. But you went the first single that's going to lead this thing off. You heard Got to Be Starting Something. The first single that's going to hit this off is That Girl Is Mine. Now, I understand the thinking behind it, but I'm just wondering, are you doing that? Like, what's the thinking behind it? I know the thinking is, man, we got Paul McCartney on here. Wow, a Beatle is on the Michael Jackson album. Look at the power look at the power of Quincy Jones, where when he has a party, dude, anybody can be there. So when they're making this album and they're sitting down having a cigar break, anybody could pop up in the session. So we get Quincy Jones for two reasons. Michael Jackson's probably thinking, because Quincy Jones can get anybody. And also, when I'm trying to get an idea across, he can interpret it. Because he's been in the game for so long, and he knows music. He's a conductor, all this stuff. So when I'm saying, like, I want it to sound like this, I'm trying to get to, he can interpret and go, I know what you mean. You want this. It's just, I'm fascinated by things like, okay, things like Beat It, even Thriller, I don't know how to describe it. It sounds like factory music, like is this repetition, it sounds like machinery. So I'm just wondering where Quincy Jones come up with that. I don't know, but yeah.
I just don't know, man. But it's like, I think I try to listen to Off the Wall, and then you listen to Thriller right after that. And again, if there was a quote unquote mistake with Off the Wall, is that maybe it was too close to Quincy's stuff around that time, right? Because it was dance music. It was, again, frustrated jazz musician music. So there's a lot of instrumentation, and it's obvious that that's what's happening. Because, they're giving the drummer some, they're doing all these solos, and like it's a different type of thing. And some of these songs are going on and on and on a little bit. And again, it's disco music. And then when they saw disco kind of die as they're working on this album and putting it out in the world, there was a risk that Off the Wall, they looked at it like Off the Wall should have been bigger, but there's so much quote unquote disco on it that it kind of got
in there with it.
It's like, oh yeah, this is some disco stuff, so we're gonna all act like we weren't dancing at the club like a month ago because now everybody said disco isn't cool. And it was almost like Thriller was like, we have to set ourselves up to where if people decide they don't like one genre of music, it's not gonna knock this whole album out. It's gonna hit every beat of everything that's been hits. And again, the tempos, I'm going to do some of my Jackson 5 stuff, like Want to Be Starting Something is something that could have been on a Jackson album. But then you got Baby Be Mine as an album cut. The Girl Is Mine. Again, it's Paul McCartney throwing an alley-oop to say, man, Mike's legit. So I'm gonna sit on here and I'm going to be the side piece on this song and let, do this thing, and the whole debating over the girl and all that. Thriller, of course, is Thriller. Beat It is, like you're saying, that's like his sneaky social commentary. But also Billie Jean is also kind of like a social commentary. Like, hey, I'm just famous enough that like women are saying that they're having kids and I'm the dad of this kid.
I mean, whoa.
What?
I mean, yeah, that's what I'm saying.
What? Why are you doing this? And so in my mind, I'm laying this scene out for you. Like, human nature is just like, so think about it. Like, human nature is just like, oh man, I'm just this guy and I'm living in this world and I'm trying to figure myself out and I just want to be treated like a human being and whatever. And PYT is just a straight up, come on, I'm trying to talk to you record. Like, it's the most straight ahead record on the whole thing. And then Lady in My Life is the killer in the album ballad. Like, it's the I've done all this tricky stuff for 35 minutes. And now this last 5 minutes, I'm going to give you PYT and Lady of My Life. But those were more R&B records, right? So they probably heard that whole record. They were probably out of their mind scared of Thriller, Beat It, Billie Jean. But oops, those ended up being the biggest records on the whole thing.
Yeah.
So they thought, and Want to Be Started Something was too much more like a Jackson album song. So it was like they knew the straight up R&B stuff was slapping, but they didn't want to lead with that because they didn't want him to get typecast because they wanted it to be bigger. So then they just think, man, what we got to do is we got to give him this Paul McCartney alley-oop song. And that's what they went with. It seems crazy now, but like we just talked through it, right? Like that's like this album is insane. But at the same time, they knew that if they played their cards right, it was going to at least go kind of sort of well. And it just ended up going absurdly well. because people were watching those videos, and then he just happened to make 3 of the best videos anybody had ever made up to that point. And then it just has lasted forever. Because again, the Beat It video, people know. The Thriller video is basically a little Halloween movie. And even Billie Jean. Like, go back and watch that video.
Thing? Like, remember it was like weird thing, like it was like some weird effect with the bad thing.
Yeah, but remember,
okay.
yeah, because he was lighting the walls up. He was so like something about him. Like, is he's walking on the street and he's doing the second verse and 40 days and the 49 on the side, and he's walking right, and the light, like the tiles are lighting up. As a kid, I'm like, I don't know what's going on, but this guy's cool.
What's happening? Yeah. Hey, so did you know for 40 days and 40 nights I was on the scene?
No. No, as a kid, I wasn't asking any questions. I don't know what. It's just cool.
And for 40 days and 40 nights, I was on the scene.
But this dude is walking and tiles are lighting up. He's trying to get away from the paparazzi taking pictures of him, and he's such a big deal that he's lighting up things as he touches them, and that makes it harder for him to get away.
According to AI, they said that it's a misquoted line. He's not saying for 40 days and 40 nights I was on the scene. The actual lyric, for 40 days and 40 nights I've been on the run. That's what he says?
You think I really know what Michael... So there's also 40 days, 40 nights. Law was on her side. Ooh. Right? Because again, the whole point of the song is this lady saying that she's got a kid and I'm the dad. So she's going to take me to court. And again, as a kid, I'm not asking any questions. This guy's lighting up the tiles. I'm just enjoying the hell out of myself. Like, yeah. I don't care I don't care about the legal issue. Like, Billie Jean's not my lover. Why would he lie about this? Like, I trust him. Like, come on.
And yeah, so let's get into this PYT.
So of all these crazy records on this album, PYT, like we were talking before we hit record, it's like this is one of those songs that has lasted forever. Like, I have a 17-year-old, she loves this song. Like, she sings it, she sings the chorus, she digs it. Like, it's just one of those ones because it's not crazy. There is no social commentary. It's just how many, if you think we're on episode 30, how many songs do we have that are just at the core like a come on record? Like, hey, I like you, what's going on? Let's get together. Like, that's what of all is not a Halloween thing. Like, PYT is just, hey, I like you, I'm trying to get in touch with you. And the funny thing is that this was, of all the sculpting and planning, PYT was probably one of the songs that had the least amount of that going for it. But it was just something that they started with a slower demo and a longer demo, and James Ingram was working on something a little bit different. And again, if you get Quincy, you get somebody like a James Ingram. So they started messing with it, and they started trying to really get it figured out. And man, they had the funk going, they had the synths, they had 2 different types of guitars, they were not messing around, and it was just on. And so he did the talk to the record R&B thing at the beginning and the end. And so yeah, PYT, and just it, okay, I don't know, how do the kids say it now? Do they say a record goes real hard? It slaps? Like, well, it's just jamming, right?
And it's being played now.
Yes.
I'm noticing DJs are putting PYT in its rotation.
Because again, it's not a sneaky record. There's no hidden meanings to it. Like, it's a, hey, I'm a dude, I rolled up on you and I liked you, and I'm going to make a big deal out of the fact that I like you, and I'm going to see what you got going on. And I'm going to use like the words of the day. So tenderonis and PYT, like I told you, like that was the name of some kind of lingerie or something that Quincy Jones' wife had, and Quincy was like, man, we gotta do something with this, like Pretty Young Thing, my goodness, like we gotta make this a thing. And what do you know, they turn it into this. Like what these lyrics, like think about this, right? Like there's no confusion, right? We're not talking about 40 days, 40 nights, right? So he's talking to the record before it comes on, right? He's talking to the girl, right? He's like, you know what? You make me feel so good inside. I always wanted a girl just like you. You're such a PYT, pretty young thing. And like he just can't contain himself. So now you got to start singing, right? Because it's it's an R&B record. Where do you come from, lady? And ooh, won't you take me there? Right away, won't you, baby? Tenderoni, you've got to be. Spark my nature, sugar, fly with me. And then they go into a bridge. Don't you know now is the perfect time? We can make it right, hit the city lights. Then tonight, ease the love and pain. Let me take you to the max. And then the chorus. I want to love you. People in the background, PYT. Pretty young thing. You need some loving. People in the background again, TLC. Tender love and care, and I'll take you there. It's a hit, dude. It's the most straightforward thing on the whole album. Like it makes sense that 40 years later, if there's any song on this album, is the one that's the easiest one to jump on. There's no video, so there's no extra subtext. It just is what it is. And it works. It's just smooth. It's a good chorus. It's 4 minutes, so they didn't overstay their welcome on this. Like, it works, man.
On this album, it's a lot of conversation with the past, the present, and the future. So, the music, it's in the present because, it's in the present. And it's communicating with the past because, hey, it's like, hey, we like some stuff that was going on in 70s funk, so we're going to put some, like, we'll put that in there. Like, it's like, but it's 1983 now. We're putting it in there.
Yep.
And then it's communicating with the future because it's like, this album is We Got Next. So we're doing some stuff like, yeah, you haven't heard this before, but they're going to be doing this in the future. And so, like, some of the music sounds like sampling. Some of the music sounds like electronics. It really sounds like things that you could do in the future, because some of it sounds like electronica.
Oh yeah, because like I said, because think about it, like there's synths on here, like because it's the early '80s, so there is gonna be some robotics and some computers in there, right? Like there's not gonna be just all drums and horns and guitars, even though you got that. You got a slapping rhythm on there. You got the bass drum, and it goes. Like the speed is there. They're not giving you a lot of breaks. This guy's singing full strength, hard as hell about trying to talk to this girl. But then towards the end of the song, because they've already got bridges and choruses. And also think about this, right? So he did a bridge going into the chorus the first time, right? So don't you know now is the perfect time. We can dim the lights just to make it right. That whole thing, right? And so like they did it again, right? So the second time it was like, in the night, hit the loving spot, I'll give you all that you got. Like they did that thing where you build up and you do two different bridges where the two bridges rhyme with one another. So it was that. And then you get back to that slam and chorus, and I want to love you, pretty young thing. But then since that wasn't enough, because they didn't want to get out of there yet, because this song could have been 2.5 minutes, but they knew they had something, so they kept going. Well, they did a call and response. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
So pretty young things repeat after me. Like I'm calling out to all of you good looking girls out there. I need y'all to sing too, because it's not enough that I'm singing to you. You need to sing back to me. Dude, it's basically cheating. How is that not going to work?
I was laughing at repeat after me.
Yes. It's so straightforward. It's almost shocking compared to the rest of the album, because call and response is not a new technique by 1982-83. Like this had happened before. he managed to work that in there too.
It's a lot of on this album. Like, hey, it would be cool if we did this. It would be cool if we did that. Like, you just tell, like, just ideas are flying. Like, get Van Halen in here to have him do a guitar solo. Yeah, that'd be pretty cool. Like, just ideas are just flying, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so this is, like, I talked about how this is on a record. It's not a double record. It's not a triple record. So space is finite. Time is finite on this. And this is a situation, like, yeah, you can be out and about and they're playing this in the dance hall, okay? Now, but if you buy the album, do you know anything about production-wise as far as this thing is selling out and people might have to wait to get a copy of it, like a third pressing and a 19th pressing?
I don't know, but I would think
Back
so,
then.
right? Because it sold so much once it hit,
Yeah, it was
right?
probably like,
Because you're talking like
yeah,
in
like
the...
you got to get in line. You got to get a ticket to get an album.
Yeah, like it was dozens of millions or something like that, like 30 million in a short period of time. But like there's almost no way they would have known to that degree that they had to press up that many. Because like you said, you're talking about physical media and LPs being kind of the main thing at that time. Like you would have had to, I can't imagine there would have been an amazingly fast way to press up a bunch of albums.
No. No. So it's like, oh my God, we gotta, oh yeah. It's like, okay, I'm gonna get the 8-track until they get more presses of the vinyl. So I'm gonna get this 8-track just to hold me over. I'm pretty sure that was happening. Yeah. So this is a stationary time where it's like, okay, I'm gonna put this record on and I gotta stay in this room to listen to this. So I'm thinking about people listening to this for the first time. Maybe they've heard a single or two, but like word of mouth is getting out there like, oh man, you got to hear this. What, you see this? Oh man. So when you play side one, Thriller ends side one. So you're already like, I just went on a ride. Like, oh my God, I just went on a ride. And now there's another. So this is a 9-song album. PYT is song 8. The penultimate song.
Yeah.
So you're thinking like, oh, okay, it's winding down. Okay, we're getting towards the end. Boom, it gets sped back up. You're back in the party now with PYT. Like, oh, I thought we were just winding down. No. So I'm just thinking like this thing's buried. PYT would be the lead single on most stuff. Like it would be the breakout thing. It would be like, man, that was a good album, but PYT. This thing is getting drowned out by his older brothers. And then it's like, well, what's at the end? PYT is towards the end. Wow.
Yeah, you think it's the 6th single from this album.
Good Lord.
It was almost like a victory lap because, again, everything else is like they did Girl Is Mine to kind of be like, okay, let's be safe. This thing starts selling after it comes out. They come with the Billie Jean. Then they do Beat It. Then, again, to try to be safe, maybe they think, okay, let's do Wanna Be Starting Something because that sounds like something he's already done before. And then Human Nature into PYT. And then they close it out with Thriller released as a single, right? Like it's just, I can't imagine they would have guessed it would have gone any better. I would love to know when they thought of how these singles would be sequenced. In my mind, I think they sequenced it based on how the album was selling and what people were responding to and what was getting played on how many radio stations. And they said, okay, well, we got a video coming for this. And based on the love for this and what we're trying to do with this album and with Michael, like we don't want him to fall into the R&B artist hole. So we're going to do everything on this album that's not straight ahead R&B.
Guitars.
Like we're going to get guitars. We're going to do
solos.
Elaborate videos that are going to go on MTV. And it's like, hey, look, this is how we're going to handle this. We know you got the Cole R&B album songs on here. But everybody that knows about that knows you for that, they're gonna buy the album anyway. So we're trying to get the other people now. So Yeah, PYT gets buried. Because imagine if he would have made a 7-minute video to that. But he didn't need to because it's so straightforward and it's so obviously jamming. And again, like as a kid, like, yeah, I'm listening to this whole album. How the kids say it now, 0 skips. Number one, because it would have been harder to do with an LP. But I was listening to this whole album from front to back over and over and over again until somebody would come in the room and be like, turn it off. And then I would turn it off and I would come back like the next day or a few days later and listen to the whole thing again. The whole thing.
Thriller,
man.
1982. Really getting runway 1983. They had to tell MTV, hey, you got to stop tripping. You have to play these videos. And then the rest was history. Like it was, boom, he was everywhere.
Right. And just think about how insane that is, right? Like that's how ridiculous things were even by the 80s. That a music video channel comes out and their thing is they're supposed to just be playing videos. The guy that now people view as the reason why you have to try to make good videos during that era of time, he's one of the main people that are responsible for that thought. And like his record label had to roll up on MTV like, hey, we're gonna take all of our artists off of your station if you don't play these Michael Jackson songs. Because we sat around a table and listened to this like a year ago, and we know it's awesome. So don't act like it's not. Don't be weird. Don't be goofy. Don't say, oh, what genre is it? We don't got time for that. It's in the jamming genre, and we're trying to print some money here. And if you go ahead and just play these songs and you play these 8-minute elaborate videos with this dude on here doing all these dance routines, all this badass stuff, like it's going to work. Y'all just got to get out of your own way. Like, do you want people to watch your channel? Like, play these videos. The funny part about that is on Michael Jackson moving to Epic was kind of a really big deal because during that same time, a person that maybe we'll talk about some other time, but Mr. Rick James himself, well, Rick James was going through the same thing too. And he was making these hit songs, and obviously his songs were completely out of hand and ridiculous, but they were hits though. And he was making 5-minute videos too. And he was thinking he was knocking it out of the park. He was getting people from Soul Train on there. He was like, I got this. Like, I'm a big deal too. And when they at MTV tried to resist playing his videos, well, he went all Rick James about it, cussed the people out, talked about him in the media. And Motown didn't have the same pull at that time as Epic Records did. So essentially with Rick James, they kind of just fridged all his videos and didn't play them with any kind of consistency. Whereas Epic was able to manage their business, and because they had other artists that MTV wanted to play, like MTV had to play ball. Whereas like Rick James wasn't in the same situation. So there's a bunch of Rick James videos that people have never seen.
Yeah, this is what to put everything in proper context. Just for the young folks that are listening, this is what was going down. We were in the 1980s, and actually for us, we're kind of shocked. For younger people, they're like, we're not shocked by this, but things were still like hyper segregated. So even in the 90s, where TLC's Don't Go Chasing Waterfalls video was huge, there would be a radio station where they would play the song, but then when the rap part came out, they edited it.
Yeah.
So even in the early 90s, that was still going down, guys. Now you can't imagine, like, wait, what? Huh? What? So, wow.
Yeah.
That's why I was like asking about like, okay, what's the landscape before Thriller? Boom, Thriller comes out. Do we get it yet? But is at that right time where it's like, okay, we're going into a new era. We're going into the 80s. We're a decade past New Hollywood. It's Ronald Reagan. It's Wolf of Wall Street. Not Wolf of Wall Street, but it's Wall Street. It's Big Business. It's Michael J. Fox. It's Back to the Future. Like, we're getting big now. We're about to get these new stars. We're turning the corner. Like, we're still going to be showing respect to Frank Sinatra. We're still going to be doing that. We're still going to be showing respect to Danny Thomas, all this stuff. But now we're about to do this is like the last bastion of, there's these superstars. Because we're still all kind of watching TV together. We're still kind of like, there's these big things that are happening and we're all kind of witnessing it at the same time. But then it's going to get into like, Sarah's watching ESPN. James is watching the cooking channel. Jonas is watching his tablet, some 3-second blurps about whatever. So we're not all experiencing the same thing at the same time. So when my niece is like, hey, there's this rapper named, Shoestring, I'm like, I don't know what that is. So it's hard for someone to go, come together over me. Right. It's going to be hard for that to happen. Like every time they go and we're going to have this person be the person for the Super Bowl performance. And they're like, oh, that's polarizing. It's like, who are you going to get where everyone's going to be like, oh, yeah, that'll do it. Like, we're so in our own little silos. It's not going to be someone to go, I'm the one person and we all come together for this. So it's like, dude, it's the Super Bowl. Just care about the game. What you care about the music performance for? Just care about the game. But anyway, so yeah, it's like Michael Jackson is the last, like, man, this is Marlon Brando and this is holy, oh my gosh, like, whoa. He's like the last one, because then after that, it's going to be hard for one person to just capture the masses.
Right. And you think it was like him, Wham / George Michael, Prince, Madonna, Whitney Houston,
Michael Jordan,
Hall and Oates, like, this is what we're talking about. Like in the early to mid 80s, like these are the people who had, hits up on the scene. Like, I think I sent you a list too. It's like, man,
yes.
It's like Island in the Stream is from 1983. Kenny Rogers, Dolly Parton, like that type of stuff. Total Eclipse of the Heart, Sweet Dreams Are Made of This. Like, this is the same period of time with all of that. So it's just a wild, really Hungry Like the Wolf is 1983. Like, there's a lot of music out there that people know that were hits, but it's like, again, a record label had to say, hey, you remember that kid that used to be in a band with his brothers? And he was like the lead singer of the group, and they made like 40 songs that everybody knows. And then they were teenagers and they made 10 more songs that you all know. And he had a variety show and a cartoon. Hey, I need y'all to quit acting up and play his videos. He's like a grown up now and he's still awesome. Like if he didn't have that label support, we might not even be talking about this right now.
Wow.
Like, it's crazy to think that that's how close it came. And this was after he had made Off the Wall already, which, again, say it again, the highest selling record from a black artist at that time ever. And his follow-up album, his record label had to throw their weight around, to get him played in a mixed format. It's insane.
Yes. Yeah. No, I listened to this album in its entirety, front to back. And yeah, I don't know how they did this. Like, I really wish I could go back in time and be like 25, 41 years old and really just see the landscape 3 weeks before this drops, and then it drops, and then see the landscape afterwards. Just see like the before and after.
Yeah, I man, so this is the story that I had. I was so fortunate with some of the people that I was able to work with when I worked with my dad. And one of his people that he worked with quite a bit, Big John Chandler. And he's a guy that was a part of record clubs. He would get like every record they could get, and he was a big music fan. but he was a little bit younger than my dad and a few years older than me. So he was kind of like a unk before people used to call it that. And so when I would be working on the newspaper, he would sit with me and we would edit stuff and go over things together. And so he would just sit there and talk about music. He would talk about sports. He would talk about whatever. But the early 80s was like his, hey, like I'm a teenager. I'm in my young 20s. Like that's what you're talking about. Like that age, he was that age when Off the Wall and Thriller came out. So he told me this story about how before Off the Wall came out, everybody knew Michael Jackson was going to make another solo album, but they had no idea what it was going to sound like, what was the deal going to be. And people who were in that kind of groove of record clubs and DJs and things of that, people going out to the club, they were like, we have no idea what this is going to be. And, you would literally go to the record store on Saturday morning and walk through and pick out the singles and all that stuff. Well, he said he was in a record store on a Saturday morning, and literally the guy in the store was almost like a DJ because he's playing the records that he wants you to buy, right? So he's like trying to sell you a record while you're in the store to buy records. Well, he says he plays Don't Stop Till You Get Enough, and everybody in the store like stops in their tracks and looks at each other like, is this Michael Jackson? It sounds like him, but is it Michael Jackson? Is it really him? Because this don't sound like the stuff he was doing before. Like, this is crazy. And yeah, the guy at the store gets everybody all hyped up. And of course they sell out of all the Don't Stop Till You Get Enough singles, right? Because it's, of course, he's playing it because he has the record available to be bought. But this is like before Off the Wall comes out, right? So like even the fans, before the albums would come out, the singles would hit and people would have this anticipation for these albums. So Off the Wall, Thriller, as we got older, we noticed it for like Bad and Dangerous and all that stuff, because it was like they literally were like preempting TV shows to play the Bad video. You remember that? Like they took, like it was some like CBS or something was like 7:00 Tuesday night, y'all, we're going to play the newest Michael Jackson video. And it was like, come in the house, 7:00, I'm Bad. Again, 10-minute thing with acting, and he shows up with the outfit on in the parking lot and does a dance routine to tell this dude he's bad. And it's Wesley Snipes, the dude from New York Undercover. Like, there's just like, it's just wild. Like by that time, it was understood that he was huge, but like he was from Off the Wall on, for the people that were like waiting for him, he was knocking people's socks off like every time.
So on Fox, that happened with the black and white video where it's like, okay, after Living Color, then this is going to, and there'd be the big, yeah. So this, I remember the time. This was, it was the world premiere of the new video.
And he's got like Eddie Murphy and Magic Johnson and Iman. And it's just like, are you kidding me? And like some of the most famous, by that time, he was getting it in with the most famous dancers and letting them be on there and giving them the highlights. And he's doing these dance routines. And it's just like, it's not stopping. Like this is, Off the Wall is 79. Dangerous is what, 91, 90. So it's like this just kept on happening like over and over and over and over. Just unreal, man.
Arthur, final thoughts about PYT. Let's say, okay, it's someone where it's like they're 20, they're 21. So it's like, okay, I'm just now starting to explore. So yes, I've heard of Thriller, all this stuff, but maybe they don't know anything about PYT. What's some things that you can talk about where it's like, this is why you would want to check this out? What about the fact that his sisters are doing background vocals?
Yeah. It's at his core, like in addition to being all these other huge star, so big you can't even understand it now type level artist, he was a hell of an R&B singer, if nothing else. Like even if you took away the Beat It's and the 10-minute video for Thriller and all of that, even if you just stripped him down to his album cuts and his just what you would kind of want to call straight ahead R&B records, dude has R&B records that are like super slamming, and PYT is one of those. And so it's like that. Lady in My Life, I Can't Help It. Like, this man's got records, dude. Butterfly, Girlfriend, She's Out of My Life, Rock With You. Dude, these are straight up R&B records from the era that they came out in. They all fit in. Remember the Times? There was nothing weird about that song. That was a straight up R&B record. Like, he could do that too. And I think that's the thing about Michael Jackson that I wish more people kind of understood. Because yes, he was huge. Yes, he broke barriers. Yes, he's the reason why you can get Usher on a Super Bowl now. Like, he helped with all of that for sure. Him, Prince, and the other people we named, like, those dudes got all the stones thrown at them and fought through all this stuff they shouldn't have had to, because they were obviously great then and now. But even if you strip some of that away and just get to the records, dude's got records, man. So listen to those records. They're all there. They've been remastered and redone, and they got, you can hear the cymbal in the left ear and all that. Like, they got all of that for you. So you got a music streaming service, open it up, type Michael Jackson, and just start jamming. Like, it will happen. And it's not like, some of the rappers we love, they have so much music you almost can't get into it. Like, yeah, Mike don't have that many albums. He had space between his albums. So you can start it off the wall and just keep on jamming. Have a good time.
Get some Quincy Jones albums.
My goodness, yes.
The Dude, look at this. The Dude, Just Once, Bet You Wouldn't Hurt Me, Something Special, Razzmatazz, 100 Ways.
Woo, 100 Ways. That's James Ingram, too.
I'm sorry, James Ingram and Renator. I'm sorry. You mentioned someone else, too. Not Rentor.
Patty Austin?
Okay,
I'm not sure.
But yeah, go check this out. Like, people that were working on this album, because this was a group effort.
Yes, it was.
Go check this out. And hey, check out some Paul McCartney.
Yeah.
Like we were saying, our introduction, Arthur and I, we both told each other our introduction to Paul McCartney was Say, Say, Say.
Right, and that's what, 83. So this was after Thriller was already a hit. And Paul McCartney was almost just trying to get his hookup back, right? Because he did The Girl Is Mine on Thriller. And it was like, well, let's do another one and put it on my album. Because I like selling a bunch of albums, too. And so that's what it was. Say, Say, Say was the lead single for Paul McCartney's 83 album, Pipes of Peace.
Because we get Macca. So we get that video, Say, 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 where it's Linda McCartney, Paul McCartney, and Michael Jackson. They're like vaudeville and going town to town and doing the old school shaving cream with the brush thing. And I just remember thinking, like, this is really weird. And I thought they looked similar when I was like 3, 4, 5 years old. So yeah, man, hey, Michael Jackson, Thriller, P.Y.T. Quincy Jones coming in going like, hey. And also I'll put in the show notes the demo version where it was mid-tempo.
Oh, yeah.
According to Quincy Jones. He's like, no, I want something more upbeat.
And boy, did he get that.
That version is like, woo.
Yeah, it is.
If I was on Earth 2 and that was on the release, I wouldn't be mad if I was on Earth 2.
Yeah, different timeline, right? That's how they say it. But yeah, that would have been hard too. But again, it would have been another one of these straight up R&B records that Mike was known for. Like, he had a whole R&B following, because all throughout the Jackson stuff and even with his solo stuff when he started getting huge, there's straight up R&B records all over those albums. You can hear them.
Someone said when he died that at the end of the day, he was a soul singer.
Yeah.
Want to be starting something, Baby Be Mine, The Girl Is Mine with Paul McCartney, Thriller, flip it over, Beat It, Billie Jean, Human Nature, P.Y.T, Pretty Young Thing, The Lady in My Life. Produced by Quincy Jones for Quincy Jones Management.
Yeah.
Well, guys, look. Check us out. We're on Facebook, On the Record Jams. Write to us. Email us at ontherecordjams@gmail.com. Again, if you want to support us, please go to Apple Music, iTunes, write a review. It would help us. And if you are outside the United States and you write us a iTunes review, an Apple Podcast review, email us to let us know that happened. Because if you're in England and you write to us, it won't show up in a notification. I'll have to go in there and search England and look for it. So please, if you're outside the United States of America and you write a review for us on iTunes, please, and rate us, email us and let us know. And check out some other places where you can find us in the show notes. So until next time, this is AJ saying, keep your lamplight trimmed and burning.
And this is Arthur, and you know what I want you to do. I want you to keep on jamming.